Hello and welcome back to this glorious day in North Cornwall. With no real plans and no idea what I was going to do or where I was going, I grabbed my gear, got ready and I headed out into the lanes. It was just too good a day to waste. Kit Hill had been in the back of my mind for a long time. I've walked it quite a few times, but not with Bracken, and I felt this was the day to do it. A slight breeze, blue skies and bearable temperatures, not overly warm, but we still hugged the hedgerows looking for shade and shelter from the sun just to ease our passage through the lanes. Kit Hill can be seen in a vast majority of Cornwall and Devon, and it sits pretty much at an elevation where the tower on top really does command the skyline. You can see it from miles around, and when you're on top of it, the vantage point you have is just absolutely spectacular. Here you can see me and Bracken hugging the hedgerow, gaining what shelter from or shade from the sun, and it does work, and it is a lot cooler. The first foxgloves are out and they're always stunning to look at. This is my first view of Kit Hill looking through a gateway where I can see the complete hill. I can see the tower on top, and the left hand side there will be a squarish shape which will be the quarry. And zooming in you get a better perspective of the complete hill. There is archaeological remains up there, quarrying remains, in fact all eras of mankind can be found up there. The summer flowers are in bloom and the hedgerows are totally alive and the colours are endless. A local church I go past has Commonwealth war graves. I've yet to go in there and I won't be going in with Bracken because it's consecrated ground. The lanes are peaceful and quiet, and I'm always grateful for that, and it reminds me how lucky I am to live in this rural part of Cornwall. The wild garlic has gone well past its best, but if you come across a clump you can still smell it. It is still pungent, but it doesn't have that fresh kick like it does or would have had a few months ago. A woodland grabs my attention. It's one I've actually cycled past but never paid much attention, but there was actually work being done to the hedge by the bridge which afforded me access into it. So me and Bracken made our way into the woods. These ponds are evidently man-made. They go in kind of a step formation up through this bit of the woodland, but they're full of midges and midge larvae and all other insects you can see bubbling around in the water, and it would be thoroughly unpleasant in a few weeks' time when the temperatures get hotter in the woods. So I make my way further into the woods, and it's getting extremely difficult, and I'm at the point I'm bushwhacking now. I'm at that point I'm regretting not having my bushwhacking model hiking stick. This just does not have the weight and the clout to really cut through all this undergrowth. It's stinging nettles, it's thoroughly unpleasant, and I've already been stung more times than I care to actually, more times than I care that I want today. The sun is beaming down. It's hard work. I'm beginning to feel like a jungle explorer in here, and you know, I can quite evidently sympathise with the early explorers with those conditions, and you can see the state of those ponds. They are absolutely rancid, yet there is a clear flowing river on the opposite side of the bank, and that water, although I would not want to chance trying to drink it, does look a lot cleaner and fresher than these stagnant pools. It is almost a swamp, and you can evidently see the beginnings of how bad it will get with insects, as even on camera you can see them buzzing around these stagnant water pools. Me and Bracken soon find a trackway, but the elation is short-lived because we are pretty soon back into heavy bushwhacking. It's getting hot now, it's getting unbearable. There's that ever-present fact that we're being stung, being pricked by thorns, thistles, being whacked in the face by twigs and branches. It's just beginning to get too much hard work. I dare say this in the winter would be a fantastic place to explore, but as you can see, I have bushwhacking at least head height in some of these bits here, and it's new growth woodland, not old growth, so it's just a tangled mess, and you could almost do with a machete to cut your way through it. By chance and luck, me and Bracken find a slight open area by the stream. He can get a refreshing cool drink, and I can take a respite from all that heavy bushwhacking and trying to guide Bracken through it, because on a lot of occasions he cannot even see over it. It's time for me to get a coffee. Time for me just to literally organise myself, take stock of the situation, and wonder, is it worth carrying on? Because this wasn't part of our plan. It wasn't part of what we intended today. This was just something that drew us in. And like all plans, you have to know when to carry on with them or reevaluate it, take stock, withdraw, and then, you know, formulate a different plan of action. It is peaceful and tranquil in here, and there really would not be anybody else, you know, near me for at least a quarter of a mile, I would say. Who else would want to be in here doing this today, anyway? Well, I've made my mind up, and I am going to exit this woodland. So we're just getting ourselves together, and then we're going to head back the way we came. It is difficult terrain, and it's not just a case of following our tracks. As we move through the undergrowth, it sprang up behind us, and you know, we won't be making a fast withdrawal. This is going to burn as much time getting out as it did coming in. Reckon. And there it is, a thistle. It's man size, it's humongous, and it's just one of 1,000 you have to deal with here. Like I said, my bushwhacking hiking stick would have come into its own, but as you can see, I have a forest of thistles, thorns and unpleasantness to get through. Bracken has he's developed a technique where he hops like a bunny or a roebuck deer, where he literally springs up into the air and makes his ground that way. I unfortunately can't do that, and quite often Bracken in his attempts to do that will end up pulling me forward. So it would look comical to watch us doing this, but for me, I've got a fear of being face planted straight into a thorn bush. Go on, Bracken. Go on. Good boy. Hang on. High side. Up here. Go on. What have you seen? What have you seen? Go on. Steady. Well, we're back out on the lanes and we're using the same tactic of hitting whichever side of the road offers us the most shade. It's working, and Bracken has switched on and he's doing the same without me even having to instruct him. He's wandering across the road to whichever side's offering shade. Bracken finds an entrance and literally darts down a stone staircase, and lo and behold, we find a well, a secret well that's carved into the stone and the rock just above the river line. It's hidden from the road, but it obviously used to serve the surrounding farms. There is a beautiful stone staircase coming down to it. You would never know it was here unless you knew it was there. And you can see Bracken going up now. It's one of those little hidden treasures you would never know, and it's not even on the map. We are now making our way through the lanes, and we're heading to the left, and now we will be going on Dead Man's Road. Now, this is quite a fascinating road because there isn't a church in the parish at the very top of this track, and all the coffins would be loaded onto carts and they would transit down this road to the church that we've just gone past. And yeah, it then subsequently picked up the name Dead Man's Road, quite simply because all the dead men used to have, or dead people used to have to take this one last journey to the grave. This track or lane now isn't really used or can be used by motorised vehicles. It is pretty much a footpath. It's shaded, it's overgrown in some parts, and it's absolutely fascinating. The history behind it, who would have walked this road, who would have been buried by being taken down this road. All those things can quite easily float through your mind. The hawthorn is looking absolutely outstanding. Some of it is white and some of it is pink, but in any case it is an undervalued hedgerow plant, and it always seems to come second best to blackthorn, but hawthorn is a personal favourite of mine. Now this track, lane, or would have been road, you know, it's showcasing the best of what British wildlife, flora and fauna has to offer, and you can do that through the whole length of the actual track, and it's absolutely outstanding and beautiful. It's one of those hidden gems that yet again nobody or hardly anybody knows about. Even local people, it's pretty much still hidden. So I do feel privileged every time I walk this. Well, I decide it's time now for us to stop and both of us have a drink and have a rest sitting beside this track and road and just taking the sights. We waited here for possibly 20 minutes, just taking stock of ourselves, getting, should we say, refreshed to tackle the hill in front of us, and that would be Kit Hill. Bracken, he's still got plenty of energy left in him, and I often do wonder if he looks at me and thinks to himself, you know, why is this guy stopping? But anyway, we've made our way onto the slopes, and now we're beginning to ascend through the footpaths, and it goes up through some agricultural land. Once we've gone through this part of the track, we will be on more exposed high ground, and the fields have been left to go, and the grass is full of various wildflowers and plants. You can see the track in front of us, and you can see the tower. It is basically a straightforward climb up this hill. The tower is going to loom into sight now, and you can see the size of it. But that's still not the very top. We have to actually go over the brow of the hill to get to it. The views are beginning to open up now as I approach the top, and the last few gates you can actually see how high we are. And you can see Bodmin Moor over there and Carradon Hill. Now it drops down there into Callington, and on a clear non-hazy day you can even see Plymouth Sound from here. Once you start getting near the top, you go into heathland and granite kind of tracks, and it becomes extremely moor-like. But yeah, a lot of mining activity took place here, so there's a lot of waste product from that all over the top of the hill as well. Bracken's deciding he wants to have another drink, and there's nothing wrong in that. I just let him drink what he wants, and we'll start making our way the last little push to get to the top of the hill towards the tower. The breeze and the wind up here now, because it's quite elevated, it is quite noticeable. It is keeping us cool. And there it is. It is absolutely massive. And you can see the tracks have changed from that rolling green grass to bouldery, gravelly and moorland type tracks. There's a complete contrast in vegetation as well. You could almost be on top of any one of the tours with this vegetation, and I suppose due to the elevation and harsh conditions for plant life, it probably mirrors the conditions that they face on top of the tours as well. At the top there's like a kind of a flat plateau. This has been built on this tower. There is a car park. You can drive up a hill on the opposite side there to various car parks. But we've walked, and I do have a sense of achievement getting here, and I feel proud Bracken has got here with me. We've taken our time, we've hydrated, we've stayed in the shade, and we took that detour. An unnecessary detour, but one I'm kind of like, it's inspired me to go back and have a look, but nevertheless I shan't be doing that on the return journey. But like I said, nevertheless it's absolutely stunning, beautiful, and with views over miles and miles of the surrounding countryside. I will do a better look around here on a video and, you know, bring out the history to this place and surrounding area at some point. But today it's not about that. Today was about the hike, the walk, and me and Bracken actually getting here. The sense of achievement, even though this isn't a mammoth hike, is still a good feel-good factor. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming along for a little hike or a walk with me and Bracken. It's been a little bit of a workout, as you've seen, and Obviously that detour cost us a lot of time, but I hope you enjoyed it, and you've enjoyed a little bit of the North Cornish countryside. So all that's left for me and Bracken to do basically is slowly meander our way back home with no detours. So all the best till next time. You stay safe, and yeah, I hope to catch you guys out on the trail. This is Andy from Hidden Valley Footpaths. Take care.